Welcome back to my channel, and I am Sonia Renee, and you are sipping with Sonia. What are you sipping on? I'm sipping on my Pinot Noir as I come in to share some inspiration, which my page is all about fashion inspiration and beauty. And today I'm going to be talking about the subconscious link between childhood chores and your current relationship anxiety. Now I know some people are probably saying, "Wait a minute, Auntie, what are you talking about?" Because this don't even sound right. It don't even make sense. But actually, you would be surprised how much of our childhood trauma and the behavior patterns that we were raised with are different types of trauma bonds in our relationships today. Let's talk about it. Now, if this is your first time here, thank you for stopping by. And to all of Auntie's babies, thank you for coming back. I appreciate y'all. Let's talk about modern day behaviors as it relates to our childhood rituals. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm a Gen X. I'm 56 years young, grateful, and I throw my age out there in a heartbeat because I'm grateful to be alive. My mother died at 55, so I'm grateful to be here at 56, alive and well. But anyway, I digress. Think about this: when we were younger, every Saturday was what? It was a cleaning day. It was a ritual. Every Saturday you had to get up and you do your chores before you could go outside and play. I know that's how it was in my house. I know that's how it was in most of my friends' houses growing up. And it's crazy how we didn't have social media back then. We didn't even have cell phones back then. But somehow our parents seemed to be on the same timeline, with the same rules, a lot of the same rules, And I mean, basically, we probably could say some of it came from slavery and the behavior patterns that was passed down. Definitely could be a part of the process. And also, I noticed that, if you talk about our ancestors coming out of slavery and coming into a time where they can now, have jobs and buy nice clothes and buy cars and houses and have businesses. Now you're able to obtain things that you could never have, because as a slave, you could have nothing but babies and keep producing for, right. So in today's time, we get an opportunity to see where how it's brought into our modern day today. Here's what I mean. I know getting up first thing every day, the house had to be cleaned daily. I mean, throughout your daily ritual. I mean, daily, if you use the bathroom, you clean up after yourself, right? You use the kitchen, you cleaned up after yourself. Every day we sat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If you were home and if we were in school, we come home, had dinner. We sat at the dinner table as a family, because this was an opportunity for us to sit down and talk about our day, what was going on in our day, what was going on with our homework, and also for our parents to share what's going on in the household, going forward as a unit. So this was family time, right? But afterwards, what happened? I had to clean the kitchen. I had to wash the dishes, clean the countertops, clean the stove, put the food away. My brother had to sweep and mop the kitchen floor and put the trash out. This was every day. And if my mother came downstairs in the morning, and it's the dish in the sink, after she done cleaned up the kitchen, and she done closed her kitchen for the night. Excuse me. Now, some of y'all know when their mama closed their kitchen for the night, because I have grown kids now, and I raised my children the same way. When you clean that kitchen, do not go in my kitchen after it's clean. That's it. Okay. Now, unless you need some water, you choking, you can get some water. But other than that, do not put a sink in my dish. Do not touch nothing, because the kitchen is closed. Let me tell you how that turns into a problem when you get into a relationship. And here's the connection. You both grew up in two different worlds, two different genres, two different states, two different eras, atmospheres, two different parent households, right? Does everybody raise their children the same way? No. Do we have some similarities? Absolutely. Do we have a lot of differences? Absolutely. So when you have two people coming together from two different places, two different worlds per se, you're going to have difference of opinions of how you want to live in your home because of the way you were raised. You either are bringing in the behaviors of the way you were raised, and if it was embedded in you, it could have been a childhood trauma. And I know somebody's saying, "How, Auntie?" I'm gonna get to that. Stick with me. Stay to the end, because I'm gonna stick to how it becomes a trauma. Right now, I want to just explain how and have that connection of how we understand that cleaning the house, especially on Saturday, was a ritual before you could even go outside. And honey, at 12 o'clock, we always sit down and do what? Watch Soul Train. That's right. And then when Soul Train went off, we was outside. Because your chores were done by then. Why? Because you were up at 8 o'clock in the morning. It don't take you 4 hours, 3 hours to clean the whole house. It really doesn't. Because if you're keeping it clean throughout the week, then you really on the weekends is probably just going to do a little deep cleaning. You're going to hit them baseboards and those windows and walls and stuff. So as I was saying, when you have somebody that's come into your home and you start to live together, you start to see people's habits. I know when I got married, I was like, whoa, this dude, he don't know how to wash clothes. He don't know how to cook. And it was foreign to me because my brother was taught to do laundry and cook and clean at the age of 10, 9, 10 years old. Growing up into that age, you do a little bit here and there, but 9, 10 years old, it's time you can get to the real, gritty of it, doing a lot of the chores, right? So to meet somebody who was, 4 years my senior, at the time I was 17, 21, 22, going on 22, and your mother was always doing this stuff for you. So it's like when we came together, I had to teach him how to cook, how to clean, how to do laundry, because, and I'm young now. Today, 56-year-old Sonia wouldn't do that, but I was young at 17 years, 18 years old. What I know, I'm just, I'm teaching. I feel like I'm helping out because I'm showing you how to do something. But it also set the precedence of this is the excellence that I require in our home. So when we did get married and we got our own home, I was the one who mainly kept the house clean. But if he put a dish in that sink, we got a problem. I'm telling you what I know. If you go in there and you go in that kitchen and you start cooking a whole meal, after I don't cook the whole meal, you ate and you came in late, I'll leave the food in the microwave. But if you don't want to eat that and you decide to cook something else, not after I don't clean my kitchen. Now he looking at me like, well, wait. I'm a man. I live here too. Why you tell me? Why are you gonna tell me what I can and cannot do in this kitchen? It's not that I'm telling you what you can and cannot do. It's just that what I didn't know then, and what a lot of women didn't know then, what we know now, is that a trauma response was when you don't clean up after when you clean up after yourself and you do a good job cleaning. A lot of us as children related that to as we were rewarded for it. You had to earn, the validation from your parents by cleaning. That was how you earn validation. And I know some people probably saying, "What? Don't even make sense." But that's, you got to understand the dynamic of where we were and how we grew up. And so, and then raising our children this way, because I raised my children the same way. Keep a clean house. When I go to my daughter's house now, she married with kids. If I go to my daughter's house now, she already know. That's why y'all sometimes see on TV mothers coming in like, what's that? That's dirty. Clean that. I do the same thing to my daughter. Sometimes, not to just be the mean mom, but sometimes I go in there because I raised you better than this. So she don't keep a dirty house. Don't get me wrong. So I'm not down on her. She keeps a clean house. But as the mom, and so, picky sometimes when I go in, I'm like, clean that off. I don't want to see that, Mom. Clean it off. It's time. That bathroom needs to be clean. Mom, I know she's been running around with the kids all day. She ain't had time to get to it. But Mommy, I decided to stop by and I got an issue with the bathroom. And I don't even live there. So you see how your childhood behavior can overflow into your adult life, and it don't even have to be the house you live in. It can be somebody else's house and you still coming and tell us about clean that up, because we was taught cleanliness is next to godliness. We was taught that you keep a clean house. If you keep a clean house, you keep a clean house, and a decluttered house means you have a clean mind and a decluttered mind. It eliminates brain fog. If your mind is cluttered and your house is dirty, then your brain is cluttered. It's a reflection of what's in your mind. You have no direction. You have no clarity. You don't know where you're going. You don't know what you're doing. You're just kind of in a stuck space, right? And so, but when you're cleaning and your space is clean and you have everything where it's supposed to go in order, you have more of a flow of, your mindset, your mind, your juices get flowing. You feel your energy feels lighter because, everything is in its place. It's clean. And one thing my mother said, and I said too, you don't need to have something in every corner of your house. You don't. You don't need to have something in every corner of your house. Who said that? Who said you got to have something in every corner of your house? Who says that you got to have 20 things on your coffee table? How are you supposed to see the beauty of the coffee table if you got 20 things on top of it? One, maybe 2 items is good. A floor piece arrangement, maybe a candle, some books, you like the decorative books, whatever, how you want to do it. but you don't want to take away the beauty of the coffee table, or of what it's supposed to bring to the room, right? So the concept of performative partner who equates doing tasks with earning the right to be loved. So you're performing, which means not like an actress, but you're doing the works, the acts of the works, right? So you're doing the work, like the acts of service. You're doing the work, and acts of service, even though it could be a love language for some people where they like to receive acts of service from someone. Some people like to give acts of service, but they have to be careful because it can lead into the trauma bond of overgiving. And some people say, oh, I'm a giver, I'm an overgiver too. But that's a trauma response to abandonment. Oh, it is. It's a trauma response to abandonment. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you don't believe me, you can click the link below and get my book, Abandonment Is Not Your Fault. I go extensively in there about the types of relationships that I had with parents, my spouse's family, my siblings, my so-called friends, and how those trauma bonds I had shaped those relationships I had. So you'd be surprised that overgiving, where you think you're doing it because this is the way you like to love on people. You are a giver. You're just such a giver. You like to love on people. And that's nothing wrong with that, because that's me, right? But I was an overgiver too, which means I gave without boundaries. I didn't have many boundaries on my giving. So people would take advantage of me and I would attract takers. That's a trauma bond. Givers attract takers. And givers keep giving and overgive. When you overgive, it means you're giving past the point of where you should stop. Okay? You just past the point of where you should have a boundary. But you didn't, so you just kept giving. Because subconsciously, you're thinking, okay, if I keep giving, then they're going to appreciate it. They're going to validate me, and they're going to reciprocate. But here's the reality. They may say thank you, but most times it's not appreciated. And you definitely don't get any validation, because now because to them it's become an expectation. And you're not appreciated, because when people start to look at you like this is the normal. And it's not. It's not the normal. Also in growing up in that time, we had a fear of doing it wrong, right? So, and that leads into leaving a job incomplete, or filtering into imposter syndrome. Because I was raised the same like a lot of you. If you don't do it right, don't do it at all. Well, that can bring you into imposter syndrome, because there could be times that, and I know for me, times when I first got on social media, and when TikTok first was popping. I mean, I started doing Facebook videos. Because God was like, start posting your videos. So I started posting videos on Facebook. My page blew up. Then I went to TikTok. My page blew up. And I was just like posting stuff that was dealing with my, abandonment, and also finding out that I was adopted at 49. So I was sharing my whole story with that. But I also noticed that sometimes when I was speaking to my audience on camera, I was performative in the sense of I was speaking as if I was on stage, because I'm a speaker, and I was in multi-level marketing for 20 years, and I would do a lot of speaking engagements. I would do a lot of trainings and teachings and stuff. So when I was speaking on the camera to my outside audience here out in the cyber world, I was still speaking with that posture as if I was speaking to an audience. And yes, I'm speaking to an audience, but I'm not on a stage. So when you're on stage, your posture is different. Your mindset is different. What you're talking about is different. You're hitting your bullet points. It's a different type of behavior. But when I'm talking on screen like this, I can be more myself. I don't have to be the professional Sonia Renee, explaining all that. I don't have to do it that way, right? So here's what so I had to catch myself and really work on bringing myself to the screen and not having that performative, personality, because that's not what's required here. They just want to see you show up as your authentic self. Just be yourself. And even though I was being myself and sharing something, it was still coming from it. I was still using a business speech vibe, if you will. So it's the best thing I could come up with. And so I had to, and it's funny because, and I can get on social media and talk, especially if I'm venting about something, ranting about something, or if I'm sharing something funny or whatever, I could get on and do that. But because I was such a professional speaker for so long, and still am, it's just that switching the light on and switching it on and off, depending on the audiences, was something that I had to work on. And that came from, if you don't do it right, don't do it at all. It came from that mentality. It came from what my parents taught me, And so if I wasn't going to do it right, I didn't do it at all. Instead of go ahead and do it and try it. If you fail your way forward. If you like it, great. If you don't, move on to the next thing. Because you can try as many things as you want until you come across the things that you love to do so much that you do it. Even if you didn't get paid for it, you will still do it. That's finding your joy. That's finding your peace. That's finding your happiness. But growing up, it's if you ain't going to do it right, don't do it at all. And I get that to an extent. Like, you don't want to be the person who always leaves things unfinished. You don't want to be the person who starts, because how you start is how you finish, right? If you start with the right intentions, you're going to finish with the right intentions. If you start with the wrong intentions, you're not going to get the results that you want. That's just the reality, right? But at the same time, you don't want to put somebody so much into a headspace that if I don't do this perfectly, it's not going to be received. I messed up, I failed. And now that creates a whole nother mindset situation that you have to deal with. I failed. No, you didn't fail. Do you know who you touched? If you touched one person with your words, it mattered. You won. Would you like to reach 1,000, hundreds of thousands? Absolutely. And that time will come. But you just got to be yourself. Be yourself on screen. Don't be somebody else, be yourself. And with imposter syndrome, it causes you to also be that way in relationships because you show up with the mask. You don't show up as you show up with the polished you. Okay? You don't show up with the you. Y'all know what I'm talking about? That you that got up early in the morning looking crazy with that bonnet on your head. I go to sleep like this. I don't sleep with no bonnet because, honey, them night flashes come. I ain't got time for them on my head. But I will say this, it puts you into a point of where you have to be so perfect, and perfection is not real. It's just not real. You're not going to be perfect. But if you show up as your authentic self, that is what people will gravitate to and appreciate.